Today in the Smugglers Room, we're making two different styles of stands for your head, your bucket, your helmet. Right, boys? That's coming up. What's up, you awesome geeks? I'm Brian, and welcome to the Smugglers Room, the show where each week this chubby geek tries to build something ridiculous, pass on a few tips, and inspire you to build your own wild and crazy projects. Now, if you're new to the channel and you love ridiculous builds and all things geek, then you're in the right place. So, don't forget to subscribe and make sure you hit the bell so you don't miss a single episode. Today I'm going to show you how we made two different types of stands for our Star Wars helmets. Not a Star Wars fan? That's okay, I won't hold it against you. Okay, I'm confused about the script. Sorry everyone.
Where'd they find this guy?
I didn't understand why they wouldn't be Star Wars fans.
Because some people don't like Star Wars.
Really? That's a thing?
Yeah, it's a real thing.
Okay.
So, are you good?
Yeah, no, I'm good. We can go.
All right, people, we're gonna get this going here.
I'm ready.
Quiet down, please. It's not even a real actor. Let's get this going.
Not a Star Wars fan? Not a problem. The techniques and materials we use to build these could be applied to any number of helmets from your favorite genre. Alright, let's start off with the stand for Boba Fett's helmet. With this stand, I had two goals in mind. I wanted it cheap and I wanted it simple. So, we used PVC primarily for this build. We started off with a toilet flange, my personal favorite greebly, and then we went into a 3-inch length of PVC, a 3-inch to 2-inch reducer, a length of 2-inch PVC, and then a cap. The one thing I'm not totally happy about is the cap. I used what I had on hand, but if you're building one of these, make sure you get something that has a larger diameter so that it fits better inside the helmet. It'll give it a little bit more stability. Mine is a tad bit wobbly. Now we probably could have stopped there, painted it, and called it a day, but I added another level on the base, which is MDF. It's cut kind of in a unique shape. It was layered together, sanded, and then I used spot putty to fill in any of the gaps, sanded that smooth, and then hit it with a sealant. Once it was sealed, everybody could be painted. After it was all painted, we added the stencil. And the stencil is one of my favorite parts. We cut the stencil on our Cricut Maker, which is a really cool tool that cuts a whole variety of material. But you don't need a Cricut Maker in order to have a stencil for yours. You could print this out, cut it with a razor blade, and then use an airbrush and spray it on. Or you could find the sticker on the internet and then just slap it on the front. After the stencil was on, we could do a little bit of weathering. Weathering on this was simply done with an airbrush. I made a couple of passes, and then we also added a little bit of rub and buff down around the perimeter to just give that edge a little bit of a shine. The final step for me on this was adding these little bits and pieces, greeblies if you will. And if you're not familiar with what greeblies are, click this link above and learn all about it. But outside of that, this one is done. It's pretty simple, it's inexpensive, but it actually gets the job done, and I'm pretty happy with the way it looks. So now, let's talk Stormtrooper. For this particular stand, I wanted it to feel really thematic. I wanted you to look at it and understand immediately that this belongs in the Empire. Now that's not only accomplished by the logo and the pattern there, but it's also by all the other little details that we're going to add to this. One of the tools I wanted to use for this particular stand was the X-Carve CNC machine. Not only did I want to use it to cut out the Empire logo pattern, but I also wanted it to cut shapes into various other aspects of the base. I used Illustrator to create the graphics, I found a logo image on the internet for the Empire, and I brought all that together and created a .svg file to load into easel and then put the X-Carve to work. Once all the pieces are cut out, it's time to get to sanding, and I mean a lot of sanding. After all that's complete, you want to make sure you seal the MDF properly. If you don't, it'll just soak up the paint and you'll never get the finish that you want afterwards. Another element that I wanted to add to this stand was this carbon fiber looking material that was wrapped around the edge. I was a little intimidated by it and I wasn't sure how well it would stick to the MDF even after all the finish work I had done to it. In the end, it went on simple and I really like the finished look. You don't really notice it because it's black on a black base until the light catches it, and then you get that nice shine across there and the pattern pops out. I used the airbrush for this stand as well, and no, there's no crazy advanced technique involved. I just want to become more proficient and maybe more comfortable with the airbrush since it's something I haven't used a lot of. It gave the Empire logo a really cool shine, better than just a rattle can, if you will. I absolutely knew that this stand was going to have greeblies, of course. And in the Empire, I always loved those bright, shiny silver knobs and things that were sticking out of a black surface with a little red accent to kind of give it that pop. I didn't go too overboard with them, but I think there's just enough to add another level of interest. And to finish this all off, we went back to our Cricut Maker and cut out a Stormtrooper label for the stand out of a really cool aluminum material to give it a nice shine. Now, this guy and his chubby fingers has a hard time with some of these really fine details, but my wife was sweet enough to get in there and elegantly lay it out for us. All in all, this one has a good Empire feel to it, and I'm pretty satisfied with the way it all turned out. I have several more helmets in my collection that I'm absolutely going to build stands for. If you have ideas or things that you've done for stands for your helmets, I would love to hear about them in the comments below. Now, I really want to thank you for watching. Not just this episode, but our others as well. The Smugglers Room is a total passion project for us, and we hope that we're inspiring you to get out there and build something. So if you're finding value in what we're doing here, please share with others. Give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video, and if you haven't subscribed, please do so now. And don't forget the bell so you don't miss an episode. And until next time, keep building something out of nothing.